So today we're looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Uncanny X-Men Retro Carded Wave. This is Apocalypse standalone release, of course. This is a deluxe release at about $40, I think, 41, 42 bucks, depending on where you get it. He's available pretty much on any online store. I'll put a link down below for Big Bad Toy Store in case you're interested. Here's the front side of the package. He comes in this larger card, similar to the Kingpin retro carded figure, so if you have that, then this is the same size. Here's the back side. We do have a read up on the back. You can go ahead and pause the video now if you wish to read it. So he is 8 inches tall exactly, and he is using most of the same parts as our previous Apocalypse figures, with some new parts here and there, including the torso and the head sculpts. Now, in terms of accessories, he comes with quite a bit, and I feel like this figure provides a lot of value, or a decent amount of value for what you're paying for here. For the retail price of $40, you're getting quite a bit, starting off with his tentacles, of course, or these little tubes, I should say. These attached to his arms and his back. I'll show that in a second. They are just this very flat gray, which gives it that animated color look, since the entire figure is kind of based off of the animated series. It seems like very classic and base colors for everything. There's no shading or anything like that. So pretty flat all around when it comes to colors, as it should be. There is an alternate head sculpt. As you can see, he does have the open mouth on the figure, and then we do get a regular closed mouth here as an alternate head sculpt. So that's great. I always love that. Open mouth should always come with a closed mouth accessory. And then we have a pair of fists too, because he's got open hands, so we get the pair of fists right there. And he also comes with this big effect piece, which looks very similar to the Iron Man effect, repulsor blast effect, but he has this little arm cannon that you can peg in to his arm, and you can just plug that right in. And then you also see two little ones as well, and that is for these little two effects here, which also do work on regular size guns too. These are the same ones used for normal weapons for these 6-inch figures. So overall, not too bad in the accessories and value when it comes to this figure at 40 bucks. This used to be a Build-A-Figure, and Build-A-Figures roughly are always around like 50 to 60 bucks. So I think we're getting a pretty good value, and it's nice to say that finally, because lately I haven't felt that way, especially when normal 6-inch figures have been costing 35 bucks to almost 40. It's pretty crazy, and I'm not in focus, so that's even more crazy, so sorry about that. But let's go ahead and proceed. Here's a closer look at the figure and the head sculpt there. So he's got this big giant collar piece, so when you're looking at him straight on, you kind of can't see his whole face. At least the mouth is kind of covered. So here's a better look at that face sculpt right there, and I love the shading. I love the paint apps. It's got some digital printing on there too. It looks fantastic. Phenomenal head sculpt. And then here is the alternate head sculpt on the body right there. And then just a closer look at the figure. You can see the A at his belt and all the details here. This is the same body mold as the Build-A-Figure Apocalypse. And the torso is brand new, and the head sculpts are brand new. Of course, the collar piece is also brand new, along with these little shoulder pieces are brand new too. So we have the head on a ball joint hinge, so he does look up, though it pops off, but there you can see the ball jointed hinge. So he looks up, and then he looks down, so he can bury his face in his collar, left and right. It does hit the side of the collar piece, so that might get in the way a little bit, and you get a little bit of head tilting, but not too much. Arms will go up. You can see here this piece for the shoulder is soft and pliable. It does get in the way though. I don't like that. So if I stretch the arm out, it just looks weird. So that does get in the way. It's a bit of a bummer. He does have bicep swivels. We also do get a single jointed elbow, and then a wrist swivel with a hinge for the wrist. Arms will stretch out about this far here. So just as much as the Build-A-Figure does. Ab will crunch forward and back. It does swivel at the waist, and the legs will kick forward. They go back down, they go in and out. Pretty much does a full split right there. And then we do get a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, along with an ankle hinge forward and back. There's a swivel at the ankle, a rocker, and that's about it. And this is the Build-A-Figure mold, so you can see that you can pop off the pieces just like the Build-A-Figure. And then here he is with that arm cannon attached in case you wanted to see that. And the way this works is you would take off the hand and then slide off his forearm piece. Of course, detach the tube from it, slide this off, and then replace it with the cannon, and then the tube will go into the cannon instead of the forearm piece. So once you do all that, you can get it attached there, and that should work for either side or either arm, and that looks pretty dope. So there you go. Alright, so here we have next to the Build-A-Figure, the first Apocalypse that we got from Hasbro, I believe. And you can see here that he is using all of his legs completely, the same exact legs, except for those little cuffs around his ankles that, that's the separate loose piece. But the mold sculpt of the boots are the same, and the thighs there. Even the hands, they do look the same. Where it does start to change up is, of course, the belt. That is completely different, and the gauntlets or the forearm pieces are different. Of course, the entire torso right here is different, and I do think that the biceps are the same, and then of course the shoulders along with the collar and the head sculpts are completely different as well. And then later on we got the Age of Apocalypse here, and you can see that this is slightly different as well, with some different pieces. The boots are completely different here. Along with the belt, of course, there is no belt here. He is using the torso from the original Build-A-Figure that I just showed you guys, but of course they're different here. Biceps are the same, the hands are the same, gauntlets are different. Again, the shoulders and the collar piece is completely different, as well as the head sculpt, and this one of course has a full-blown cape going on there. All three of the Apocalypse figures are pretty different, even though they do share some similarities here and there in the mold. And there he is next to some of the cel-shaded VHS retro-carded figures from X-Men: Wolverine, Storm, Jubilee, and Mr. Sinister. And I think they do go well with each other, even though he is not cel-shaded. I think they go well with these, 90s animated series figures. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with this release. I like this figure a lot more than what I was anticipating, and I think that it goes very well with my 90s X-Men display. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and while you're down there, hit the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. As always, everyone, take care, take it easy, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.